Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday morning. Not much to bullshit about today. Got the, what do we got? The battleships of the Pacific. That means it's time to get down and boogie and do some carpentry. And as you guys know, today's plan is to get this resheathed up on the side. And if we need to sister some more wood up here to make sure we have a good surface to nail our fascia board on, we're going to do that today too. So it's going to be a busy day. We got this side over here. Oh boy. And of course we have up here on the other side. But the good news is all the prep work was done. The other good news is things are in good shape down at the rest of the garage. So yeah, that's what we got on the agenda today. This side is actually better for nailing a new fascia board on compared to the other side. We just have to clean this up where, I don't know, somebody put sprayed some expansion foam in there, which probably did more damage than good to try to fill the hole, because it separated the wood and it gave entree, I guess, to mice or rats to live in there. So that was kind of a, well, not a real intelligent thing to do. So all right, well, I'm gonna get set up, get the radial saw set up. I'm gonna try to make sure I don't have to come down up and down all day long here. So I want to make sure my cuts are good and accurate. I'm going to get my my speed square and also get the radial saw set up, circular saw, and we will be good to go. Good morning, Georgie. George on the job today. What are you doing? 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 All right, guys, stay tuned. Okay, guys, one thing I always try to do is make sure all my materials are up in place. Hammers, nails, my small square to take up the radial saw. I've got a power feed up to the top now. Reason being, I don't want to have to come up and down the ladder, because just on the off chance my leg seize up from too much up and down, I will not be able to get off the roof. So all right, we are up here now. I've set a couple 2x6s here. I use this as sort of a little sawhorse, mini sawhorse up here. So I can go ahead and measure up and do my cuts right up here on the roof without having to go down to ground level. This one might take a little more. I'm just going to fit a U, like a horseshoe cut through there. I'm not going to worry about. There's no way I can get a circle in there because of the power feed. I'm not going to disconnect all that and take off the hood just so I can get that circle. This whole thing is going to be overlaid with sheathing anyway, so it should be all good. Well, let's get measuring and cutting. Okay, guys, I've got the first piece cinched in and went in really sweet. I like it to be in there nice and tight. Only 3 finished nails on each side. I'm using a 2.5 inch finish nail, which is sufficient because I'm pounding into a really good 2x4 that's not rotted one bit. So it's a great surface for nailing into. Some people have asked me, why don't you pull up all the shingling, roofing material and then just put new sheathing on? Well, this is redwood sheathing, and these come in, they're not cut strips. These were delivered to the job site in 1956 in 24-foot lengths. So each one of these boards up here was originally 24 feet long, cut down to the length of the garage. You know, it's expensive as the devil, redwood, and this is hard. This is original growth redwood too, not the stuff you see made out of picnic tables and other things. So the pine is going to be perfect. It's going to be rock solid. Got that kissing on there really good in the space. What helps is having everything pre-cleaned yesterday. That was a really big thing. So okay, we got the first one down. I think you can see that down there. and we're just gonna roll on. I gotta tell you, I'm pleased with the progress. It is super strong. As you see on this one here, I had to do a carpenter's notch out on that. It's a pretty tight fit in there, and that's exactly what I want. I have the boards with expansion gaps in it. That's very important. You loosen your joints if you don't allow for expansion if they're too tight. Other thing I want to say, yeah, the reason I might put a small piece in here that I cut out and then nail once and glue to the sides, but this roof jack, the all-weather seal, will be on top of that, so there's no way anybody's going to be walking on top of that anyway. In other words, once the plywood is put down and the sheathing or the 40-60 pound paper, whatever Ernesto uses, and then the shingles go on, as this is being shingled down from the top, actually from the bottom, it'll catch this and it'll overlap and water will flow off of that. So I probably will leave that as it is, just because it's going to be covered by that, and it's not going to be a point. You know, if it was out in the open roof, I might go ahead. I still might, just to have a super neat job, just fill that in. But we've made good time. I've been up here about a half hour cutting. I haven't had any incidents with using the saw. That's been real good. So keep rolling along. Looks like night and day, huh? Very happy. All that wood went down real good. It is extremely solid to stand on now. No worries about going through the roof anymore. Ooh, yes, it is hot as hell. It's time now, with that behind us on the north side here, I'm gonna move over to the south side and do the repair work, the 1x6s that have to be put down there. And when that's done, I'm going to come back and pop the fascia boards on, get them cut to size. So, whew, yeah, you know, hot day. It's not my choice to be up on a day like today, but won't be too much longer. I think maybe another couple hours, and this will all be done. I can call Ernesto and firm up next weekend to do the roof job. So then we can finally get, I'm taking off the following week, so I got plenty of time to do the painting. And we should be right on target for July 1st, so all right, on with the show. Guys, we are deep into it here, and there's some complicated aspects to the repair work on this side. Because the rot was so extensive on the beams, the ceiling rafters here, you can see at the end, it's really critical that you don't try to nail into the rot, because over time your fascia board will rot, and as a result it'll twist and everything. It needs to be very securely nailed down. So what I like to do is what they call sistering lumber. I like to put good fresh, and here I have the 2x2s, and I just cut them to go onto the side here and give some blocking that the fascia board can nail onto here, here, and here. So, you know, at this point in time, with this properly nailed in the right location, this fascia board won't be gone anywhere. And I also had the additional complication here of, you know, some extensive end rot here. Well, you can't nail into that, right? I mean, it's just not gonna, you know, it's just a poor choice when you're doing carpentry. So I had to custom cut a piece to fit in here and nail that in. Now when I go to cut a new cap to go on the end here, it will have no difficulty at all, you know, having a good nailing surface to hit there. Might not be perfect down here, but at least that's a little something to nail onto down at the end there. So okay, it's time now. We have to we've got to you know, cut our end cap and get these pieces on and get the long ones done and get the fascia board on. So all right, just a little how-to wisdom from carpentry. So yeah, give it a shot if you ever have to do repair work. Remember to sister fresh wood onto your old wood, and then you'll have a very good nailing surface. Yeah, okay, well, on with the show. The wind is starting to kick up, which I'm glad for today. I'm sorry if you get a little bit of wind noise today, but that means the breeze is starting to come off the ocean, and the temperature will be gone down. Well, the good news, and there hasn't been a ton of good news on this project, is that we've done a pretty good job here of securing all the sheathing on top now.
People put it on the menu but don't mean it. Sometimes they go to their farmers.
That looks real good. That is sturdy. That is strong. We have good nailing surfaces to nail into, and also on the end we got the solid surfaces to nail into too. So the next thing I want to do, I want to try to cut the end cap and fit that on. I do have the old end cap that I pulled off. People use a million nails to put stuff in. You know, good carpenters don't put a million nails in things. But I did keep that form so that I would be able to use that as a template. So I'm going to go ahead and get that cut up and get that placed now. If you're trying to do repair work, or you're trying to become a more skilled at doing renovation work, one of the things you want to be good at is using a radial saw. But make sure you're using glasses to protect your eyes, and always make sure your blade guard is on good. That's my standard disclaimer when it comes to power tools. People get fingers taken off all the time using these things, and they get we see them in the medical facility I work in, where they get splinters and other things shot off in their eyes, and well, I know one person went blind recently. So, but you want to be able to use the radial saw to do rapid cutting work and fitting. You don't want to have to get out a saber saw to do that. So for me, it was very easy to just use the saw to make this make all these different cuts on here. I just traced the outline basically on the old one, and then brought this up and fitted it to the spot here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, it's going to be sealed, it's going to be weather tight now, and it's the rot situation is now long gone, and that's the main thing that I really care about, is the making sure that as much rot as possible has been taken out of the equation. So I won't know 100% for sure until Ernesto comes next week and checks stuff out, but I'm pretty sure I got all the rot keyed off. I've got all great wood. I have a very safe corner there that someone could actually stand on safely. So the only thing I have to do now, I've got the 1x4s over there, is to go ahead and get this fascia board measured and fitted on the front. I've also repaired some of the wood that was starting to separate there with some Gorilla Glue, and I have that clamped up. You can see now it's a totally different story than it was before. So yeah, take your time. Restoration work is something you never want to rush. You want to go slow, measure twice, cut once, and be very careful, especially when it comes to working with angles and things. You can get confused. Sometimes you have to turn things around to get the proper angle to put it into place. So I'm very happy with the way the progress is going. Keep my fingers crossed. I don't want to go nuts here cheering, but so far so good. So we're going to go ahead and try to get the next bit done. All right, check back. Are you happy yet? Woohoo! We are all closed in. It's all wrapped. Everything's all set to go for the when it gets overlaid with the plywood or the OSB, and then the new shingling. We have a brand new, pretty corner here, and all of the rot has now been replaced and dealt with on this side, and we got a real nice fit on the fascia board there. So the only thing remaining to do is to go on the other side, and that'll kind of wrap it up. I can call Ernesto and tell him to come next weekend, unleash the troops there, and hopefully by the next weekend we have some new guttering and some new downspouts and a new roof. I'm going to have to go ahead and paint all this, because he's going to put the guttering there, but no big deal. I'll just do what painting I can. I'd like to wait till all all the roofing's done. So time to get around the other side and put a wrap on the project. All right guys, it's wrap up video time. Both sides, as you've already seen over here on the top there, I've now gone ahead and completed the other side here, and that's all buttoned up real good. Real good fit on the fascia board there, good and strong. It's not going to go anywhere, and this basically concludes our repair work on the garage. And I think you would agree, compared to between yesterday and today, the difference is like night and day. So you like stuff that's solid. You don't want to just use fillers on rot. You got to remove the rot. You've got to get it out of there, or it'll just get worse. You're just fooling yourself, because even though you can put filler on it, you haven't solved why it's rotting. So we know both why it's rotting, because of water intrusion, and we also know that we're taking steps to make sure it never happens again. You know, Ernesto will use drip edges and everything else to protect the wood, to make sure it doesn't go wicking up there, which is really what draws the water in and causes the big problem. So anyway guys, thanks so much for being along today. I know it was a well, for me it was a hot one out here, but luckily my legs held up for the project. And now I'm proud to call Ernesto to come over and do the roof, and I'm proud to do that because it improves the property, it makes it safer, pay it forward in the future. I would hate to think that somebody would fall through the roof on that garage, but you know what, I'm happy it's done and you guys were along. Thanks so much for being along. Handy girl Rosie on the job. Thanks. Oh, and thumbs up are always appreciated. Have a great rest of your day.